Good morning, my dear students. Hope that you are fine. I am also fine by the grace of Allah. I am Mohammad Ibrahim, lecturer in chemistry, Milestone College, Uttara Dhaka. Today we will discuss chemistry, chapter 7, chemical reaction. Today I will start with the precipitation reaction. All of you must write it in your classwork copy. Precipitation reaction. Okay, everybody see that I have written 3 reactions. Sodium chloride react with silver nitrate to produce silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. Sodium sulfate react with barium chloride to produce barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. Ferrous sulfate and sodium hydroxide react together to produce ferric hydroxide plus sodium sulfate. Okay, in this reaction, silver chloride is precipitated, it is solid. Barium sulfate is precipitated. Ferrous sulfate is precipitated. So it is the precipitation sign, downward arrow. So these are aqueous solution. So these are solid, it will settle at the bottom of the container as a precipitate. Okay, now we can write the definition. The reaction in which the produced compound settles at the bottom of the container as precipitate is called precipitation reaction. Okay, students, you see the board again. I have written the reaction in which the produced compound settles at the bottom of the container as precipitate is called precipitation reaction. So sodium chloride and silver nitrate react together to produce silver chloride. It will settle down. I show the downward arrow mark. So this arrow mark indicates that it will be precipitate. Okay, then sodium sulfate and barium chloride, these two compounds are react together to produce barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is dissolved into water, but barium sulfate will settle at the bottom of the container. Then ferrous sulfate react and sodium hydroxide react together to produce ferrous hydroxide and sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate is dissolved into water, but ferrous hydroxide, it will be settled down at the bottom of the container as precipitate. So these type of reactions are called precipitation reactions. Okay, now hydrolysis reaction. Hydrolysis reaction. Okay, everybody see that silicon tetrachloride react with water to produce silicon tetrahydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. Then aluminum chloride react with water to produce aluminum hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. So now we see that the compounds are reacting with water to produce new compounds. So the reaction in which a compound reacts with water to produce new compounds is called hydrolysis reaction. Okay, now I am telling the reaction in which a compound reacts with water to produce new compounds is called hydrolysis reaction. So here everybody see that silicon tetrachloride react with water to produce silicon tetrahydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. And again aluminum chloride react with water to produce aluminum hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. This type of reaction are called hydrolysis reaction. Lattice water. Water molecules that combine with ionic compounds are called lattice water or hydrated water. Okay, now let's see the example. It is copper sulfate plus, if 5 molecules water is added, then it will be copper sulfate and 5 molecules water. It is pentahydrated copper sulfate. Pentahydrated copper sulfate or blue vitriol, BLOU, blue. So everybody know the formula of blue vitriol. It is copper sulfate and 5 molecules of water, and it is also told pentahydrated copper sulfate. Okay, now I am telling again, water molecules that combined with ionic compounds are called lattice water or hydrated water. Here copper sulfate is just it is copper sulfate and 5 molecules water together is called pentahydrated copper sulfate, or another name of this is blue vitriol. Hydration reaction. The reaction in which an ionic compound combined with a definite number of water molecules is called hydration reaction. Okay, now example, everybody see that it is copper sulfate plus 5 molecules water. So it will be copper sulfate 5 molecules water. Then zinc sulfate plus 7 molecules water. It is 7 water molecules. Then ferrous sulfate it is so first one is called pentahydrated copper sulfate, then pentahydrated zinc sulfate, hepta. Penta means 5, hepta means 7, so heptahydrated zinc sulfate, heptahydrated ferrous sulfate. So this another name is blue vitriol. Blue vitriol. This one is white vitriol. This one is green vitriol. Okay, now again I am telling the reaction in which an ionic compound combined with a definite number of water molecules is called hydration reaction. So first one we have seen that 5 molecules water, it combined with copper sulfate, then it is called pentahydrated copper sulfate or blue vitriol. Then zinc sulfate, it combined with 7 molecules of water, so it is heptahydrated zinc sulfate or white vitriol. Then ferrous sulfate, it is also combined with 7 molecules of water, so it is also called heptahydrated ferrous sulfate or green vitriol. All of you write it in your classwork copy. Okay, isomer. Everybody see that two compounds with similar molecular formula but with different properties are called isomer of each other. Okay, now everybody see the word ammonium cyanide. Ammonium cyanide formula is NH4CnO. So this one and urea H2N, CONH2. So this two, it is ammonium cyanide. It is urea. So these two are different compounds, but their molecular formula is same. N2H4N2CO. Here also H4N2CO. So their molecular formula is similar, but their properties are different. They are also different compounds. So these two are isomer of one another. Again, ethanol C2H5OH. This is ethanol. Then CH3 dimethyl ether. This is ethanol and it is dimethyl ether. So these two compounds also, they are molecular formulas same. That means it is C2H6. So it is the molecular formula, but their properties are different, ethanol and dimethyl ether. So these two also isomer of each other, and here it is the molecular formula N2H4 N2CO. So this is the molecular formula, but their properties, ammonium cyanide and urea, their properties are different. It is the molecular formula, it is ethanol and dimethyl ether, their properties are different. So this type of compounds are called isomer of each other. Okay, dear students, now next one, isomerization. So all of you see that I have written it, the chemical reaction in which atoms in a molecule rearrange themselves to form one isomer from another isomer is called isomerization reaction. Okay, I have shown isomer of one another. Now everybody see that it is ammonium cyanide, NH4CnO. If we apply heat on ammonium cyanide, it is the symbol of heat, then it will be urea. So it is the formula of urea, NH2CO NH2. So in both cases the molecular formula is same, that means it is H4 N2CO. Here also it is H4 N2CO. So I told that if the molecular formula is same but their properties are different, in this case these are called isomer to one another. So to form one isomer from another isomer, this process is called isomerization reaction. Polymerization reaction. Okay, I have written the reaction, all of you see the board and write it. The reaction in which a large number of molecules of the same compound combine together to form a large molecule of heavy atomic mass. Okay, now the condition is required at high temperature and pressure in presence of catalyst. So catalyst is needed, high temperature is needed, pressure is needed, then the large number of molecules it will combine to form a large molecule of heavy atomic mass. This type of reaction is called polymerization reaction. Okay, let's see the example. This is ethylene. So here large number of molecules means n molecules. N means integer, it may be the big number. So in presence of catalyst oxygen, high temperature 200 degrees Celsius and high atmospheric pressure 1200 atmospheric pressure, ATM means atmospheric pressure, then it produces polythene. So this is a big molecule with heavy atomic mass. So now this one is ethylene, this one is polythene. Okay, it is like the wall, CH2 double bond CH2, it is ethylene. And so here N means the large number of ethylene molecule, it combined together to form a polythene. It is a heavy molecule. So like the wall, this is one wall, it makes of many bricks are inside the wall. So all the bricks are the same. So a large number of bricks makes a wall like this. Here the ethylene, a large number of molecules, it combined together to form polythene. It is CH2 single bond CH2 and N is the big molecule indicates. Okay, now I am telling the reaction in which a large number of molecules of the same compound combine together to form a large molecule of heavy atomic mass at high temperature and pressure in the presence of a catalyst is called polymerization reaction. Here oxygen is a catalyst. Now what is catalyst? The substance which remain present in the chemical reaction to accelerate the chemical reaction is called catalyst. After the reaction it remain unchanged. Okay, that is polymerization reaction. Here ethylene is ethylene, so it is monomer. Mono means one, it is monomer, and polythene, it is the polymer. Okay, dear students, now all of you see the word I have written galvanizing. All of you write it in your copy. The process through which a coating of zinc is given on the surface of another metal is called galvanizing. Actually, it is the coating of zinc. It is given on the surface of another metal, and this process is called galvanizing. Now, electroplating. The process in which a more reactive metal is coated by less reactive metal through electrolysis is called electroplating. So this coating is done by electrolysis process, that's why it is called electroplating. Now last one, rate of reaction. All of you see that the change of concentration of reactants and products. So reactant and products are changed. The concentration of reactant and products are changed by unit time in a reaction is called rate of reaction. The change of concentration of reactants and products by unit time in a reaction is called rate of reaction. So all of you write it in your class or copy. Okay, dear students, I have finished all the knowledge based question from the chapter. Now I will start the comprehensive type question. All of you write the question and solve it. Okay, now I am writing the question. Determine the oxidation number of manganese in potassium permanganate. So it is a compound potassium permanganate. We have to find out the oxidation number of manganese. So in the previous class I told what is oxidation number. Now we have to find out the oxidation number of manganese in potassium permanganate. This is potassium permanganate. All of you write the compound name. Okay, now let's start. Okay, solution. Let the oxidation number of Mn be x. Okay, the oxidation number which to be find out, we let that one be x. Okay, now we know that the oxidation number of total in a compound equals 0. So it is a compound oxidation number is 0. Now potassium, it is +1. It is alkali metal. We know that the oxidation number of alkali metal is +1. So potassium is +1. Now manganese, I let it x. So it is 1 manganese. That's why multiply by 1. Then oxygen oxidation number is -2. It is multiplied by 4. Then equals 0. So now or it is 1 plus x minus 8 equals 0, or x minus 7 equals 0, or x equal 7. Therefore, so we have got the value of x, it is 7. We let the oxidation number of manganese be x. Now we have got, therefore oxidation number of manganese in potassium permanganate is +7. Okay, all of you see that oxidation number, when you mention it must be plus or minus, whatever it is. So it is plus, it will be +7. You must write it +7, otherwise you will not get the full marks. Okay, how to find out the oxidation number I have shown. All of you write it. Okay, now next question. Determine the oxidation number of sulfur in sulfuric acid. It is H2SO4. Okay, so same way, let the oxidation number of sulfur be X. Therefore, we know that in a compound oxidation total oxidation number is 0, or so it is hydrogen oxidation number is 1 into 2 plus sulfur it is X into 1 plus oxygen it is minus 2 into 4 equals 0, or plus 2 plus X minus 8 equals 0, or X minus 6 equals 0, or X equal 6. Therefore, I have got the value of X. Now I can write the oxidation number of sulfur. Therefore, oxidation number of sulfur in sulfuric acid is plus 6. So here the oxidation number of sulfur in sulfuric acid is plus 6. So same way, if you understand one math, then you can solve all types of oxidation number like this. Okay, all of you write it. I will go for the next question. Okay, now the next question, determine the oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7. Everybody write the name of the compound. It is potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7. K2Cr2O7 potassium dichromate, and Cr it is chromium. So we have to find out the oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate. Okay, now let the oxidation number of chromium be X. Therefore, we know that in a compound oxidation number equals 0. Total oxidation number of a compound is 0, or now potassium it is alkali metal, it is plus 1 into 2 plus X into 2 plus oxygen it is minus 2 into 7, altogether it is 0, or now calculation you can do it, it is 2 plus 2x minus 14 equals 0, or 2x minus 12 equals 0, or 2x equal 12, or x equal 6. So we have got the value. Therefore, the oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7 is plus 6. Okay, so we have got the value. The oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate, it is plus 6. Okay, now the last one. Determine the oxidation number of sulfur in sodium thiosulfate Na2S2O3. So we have to find out the oxidation number of sulfur in sodium thiosulfate Na2S2O3. Now similar process. Let the oxidation number of sulfur be X. Now therefore sodium Na2S2O3 altogether oxidation number is 0, or oxidation number of alkali metal, it is sodium plus 1 into 2, then sulfur it is X into 2 plus oxygen it is minus 2 into 3, it is 0, or it is 2 plus 2x minus 6 equals 0, or 2x minus 4 equals 0, or 2x equal 4, or x equal 2. Therefore, oxidation number of sulfur in sodium thiosulfate is +2. So we have got the oxidation number of sulfur in sodium thiosulfate. It is Na2H2O3 and the oxidation number of sulfur is +2. So all of you see that there is a mistake we are doing normally. Sulfate, it is a radical. So this is surds 2 minus. So when we write the surds, it will be like this 2 minus, and N is 4 plus, it is +1. But when we write the oxidation number, it will be +2 like this. So when it is oxidation number minus, then it will be -2, not 2 minus. When we write the surds, then it will be 2 minus. When we write the oxidation number, then it will be -2. Okay, that's all today. Okay, dear students, today I have shown you some knowledge based question and some comprehensive type questions from chapter 7. All of you must write it in your classwork copy, and like this oxidation number you find out more compounds, then do it in your homework copy. Okay, thank you everybody.